Hey y'all, it's your girl the Evelyn Chanel, and I am back at you with another story time. Yeah. So let's get into it. Alright, so yeah, I really been sitting on this little story for a good little minute. But I've been knowing I wanted to tell it, but I wanted to go ahead and drop my video from when I moved in first. But you know what? I'm just gonna give y'all the story. So anyway, as y'all know, I had to move, and I moved the 1st of April, I believe.
What?
Now y'all gonna have to excuse me because I know I got my blanket on, but it's whatever. This is not what we're here for. We're here to tell the story. And this little headband that I got on is the headband that I use when I wash my face to keep my hair from getting wet or whatever, you know. So yeah, so we here for the story time, and it's cute, so it's okay. But if you see a little speck or something on it, I don't know if you can see that though. But if you see a little speck, it's because I wash my face, and when I wash my face, I do my sugar scrub. So yeah. So this is the story time, as you can tell by the title, about the roommates from hell. Cause Chile. Anyway, it ain't that bad. I mean, it could be worse. But y'all, when I say trouble in my way, trouble in my way. So anyway, before I even began to move in, I was having this issue, of course, because you know the pandemic was going on. And normally, which I understand, you know, if you're in a home and then they tell you somebody else is moving in during the pandemic, you're gonna be like, you know, kind of cautious or whatever like that. But me, I'm not a nasty person. I'm not, you know, when I came to this house, y'all, I was spraying and scrubbing and everything else when I got here, because I got to protect myself just like you got to protect yourself. So with that being said, pulls out my handy dandy laptop. I will put it up on my phone, but I'm recording on my phone. So yeah. So anyway, I still got the screenshots, and I'll post the screenshots in the video so you can see them as well. Tuesday, March 31st. Tuesday, they were trying to get, well, this was the week that I was supposed to move in to my my place. They were supposed to move me in April 4th, like I said. Keep in mind, by this point, I've already signed my lease. My mama actually wanted me to move in on March 28th, but I couldn't do that because they had to come clean out the room or whatever, you know, all this type of stuff. Make sure everything was, you know, corrected and all that. So I ended up having to take them like a week or so to prepare the room as it was. So March 31st comes, and like I said, at this point, I have signed my lease. I've signed the last few little paperwork that I need to sign. The only thing that's left is for me to pay my first month's rent and for me to get my key. So 6 o'clock comes, almost 7 o'clock, 6:48 to be exact, and I get a email. But I get an email, and the what do you call it? The subject box is new roommate. Okay, and so I'm like, all right, you know, that's fine, you know, whatever like that. Okay, you know, well, let me see what this is about. So I open the email, and the email says, and I get the email, and it says, hello, I am one of the people that Highland placed you to room with. Me and my roommate were wondering if it was possible if you could ask for another room at another college. The property manager was really rude to us, and when we voiced to him that we didn't feel comfortable with you moving in, that we were all very close and all signed at least to live together and alone.
Hold up.
We were hoping that you would be, we are hoping that you would respect our wishes and the peace of our home by allowing us to do so. Also, during this pandemic, we do not feel safe allowing new people in our home. There's a nationwide pandemic causing a fear of our safety and health. We are advised to remain on lockdown and do not feel comfortable welcoming a stranger into our home during a time like this. We will hope that you will understand that we are in fear of our health, and we are being forced to take the extreme yet necessary measures to ensure our safety and health. Thanks. Okay? Cool. And you know, me, understand, like I just told y'all, I understand how that would look, you know, coming into a pandemic, and you know, you being kind of concerned. But if you pay attention to the top portion of the email, she made it very clear that y'all were close and that y'all had already made y'all close tight bond, and that is what y'all are concerned about. To me, that's how I'm feeling. You more concerned about y'all closely tight, you know, knit bond, and me coming in and disturbing all of that, as opposed to the pandemic. That's how I feel, because that's the first thing you said, you know. And I'm just like, that's fine and dandy and all, but from my understanding, when you move into a cottage, unless you buy that extra room or extra 2 rooms, then you know that other people are gonna come in. So it's just like, if that was the case, then y'all should have bought a 2-home cottage. You get what I'm saying? Like, like I said, I understand, you know, you feeling cautious about someone coming in during a pandemic, but the first thing you were talking about was your closely knit bond that you had with you and your other roommates, which is fine and dandy, because I ain't coming in to disrupt none of that. But y'all get what I'm saying? So anyway, I replied the next morning because honestly, I believe now I know what it was. But I replied the next morning because she emailed me, and then the other roommate also emailed me that same night. So she emailed me at almost 7 o'clock, almost 7 o'clock p.m. And then the other roommate emailed me at 10 o'clock, almost 11 o'clock p.m. So I'm guessing they assumed that if both of them sent me an email that I would back down, because in my head I wasn't going to respond at all. Because I was just like, no, I've been already, you know, waiting and trying to move in as soon as possible, because if y'all do remember, I was trying to hurry up and get out of the last house. My sister was leaving. If you don't, then that's another story for another day. I don't even know if I explained that. But I was trying to go ahead and get out of the house. It was a lot of stuff going on, and I was just trying to get out. So, no, I cannot push back another day or, you know, risking that. Because in my head, I'm thinking, if I decide to move to another cottage, that's going to push back my day of moving in, basically. And that explains why I'm like, no. So, I'm feeling, in my head, I'm thinking, all right, when the first, and I read the message very much so when both of them text me, but I wasn't going to reply. So, now the first one, like I said, she texted me, and I was going to ignore it.
Why? Because I'm not going to, period, the end.
The second one texted me, and at this point, now you pushing my limits, but it's 11 o'clock at night, so I'm going to wait till next morning. I'm going to talk to somebody in the office myself. So I send them an email, call, whatever you want to, whatever you will, and I send them the messages. I remember I reverse. So like I said, the first roommate texted me at almost 7 o'clock. The next one texted me at 10:57, literally. And she says, hello, I was given your contact information by the property manager at Highland Square. I am contacting you concerning your placement in the vacancy of my home. I am sorry that I have to email this to you, and this may sound unwelcoming, but I've tried to express my concerns to the property manager, and he was of no assistance to me. However, I have to inform you that my roommate and I are not comfortable with the idea of a stranger moving into our home during a time like this. If the circumstances were different, we will welcome you with open arms. However, we are under a worldwide crisis, and it is quite sad that our property manager failed to communicate this decision with us. He should have asked us if we were comfortable with a stranger moving in during this time. That was his responsibility, and we are sorry. Is there any way that you could ask to be placed somewhere else, maybe with someone who isn't taking this pandemic as serious as they should?
Wait, hold on. Back it up. What? Where? Who? What?
Somewhere else, maybe with someone who isn't taking this pandemic as serious as they should.
Hold on a minute, player.
All right. So, like I told y'all, the first message when it came along, she was like, we've already had this bond. You didn't even, you get what I'm saying? Like, you mentioned your bond with your roommate before you even mentioned the pandemic. Which, to me, sends out the signal that you're more concerned with your bond with your roommate or your friend or whoever than you are with what's going on in the world. All right, cool, whatever. So then the second one texts me, and I'm reading, I'm like, okay. You know, she seems to be concerned, you know, talked about you welcoming us in with open arms. But what threw me off was the last little sentence where she was like, is it possible that you could ask to be placed somewhere else, maybe with someone who isn't taking this pandemic as serious as they should? So when you said that, I'm like, cause what you mean with some? Why would I want to be placed with someone who ain't taking the virus seriously? You get what I'm saying? Like I said, and of course they don't know this, but the way you coming off is real nice, nasty, and that's what I had a problem with. Cause I'm like, I don't even know you from Timbuktu for you to be talking to me like that. You get what I'm saying? You had a good delivery, and then you hit me with that last part. So now I'm just like, all right, cool. Like I said, the next morning I'm like, y'all got the right one. You know what I'm saying? Right game, wrong girl. It's not me. Alright. So, okay. Like I said, after the first roommate texts me, this is the roommate who is like, talks about the close-knit bond, and then she decides to talk about the pandemic. So, when she texts me, I text the person. Well, I text the email that they have, but this particular person, it was a person that was working closely with me for me to move in. And so, I texted him and I said, hello. I hope all is well. I got an email from my new roommates asking me to pick another cot. Just 2 questions. Or cottage, I'm sorry. Just 2 questions. Can they get me moved to another cottage? Just 2 questions. Can they get me moved to another cottage? Question mark. If I do have to move to another cottage, will that take another week before my room is ready? So I text him that, and he responds. So he replies to me the next morning, and he says, hello Evelyn, I sent this message over to my property manager to let him deal with it. You are still scheduled to move in. I deeply apologize for any discomfort or inconvenience this may have caused. Best. And so we actually end up getting on the phone, and we have a conversation. Like I said, I believe I sent all of the messages between the first roommate and the second roommate to him, informing him of what they have said. Like I said, we get on the phone, and once we get on the phone, he's telling me that Dave, there was some issue about it. I believe they had been going back and forth about the same issue, but the property manager pretty much was like, what I said is what I said, and I'm not backing down from it. So I'm guessing they were upset, which I can understand, like I said, because of the pandemic going on. The problem that I have is, 1, y'all was being nice, nasty, and 2, y'all was more concerned with your friendship and me coming in and ruining it, or giving you bad vibes or whatever you thought was going to happen. And I'm just like, you don't even know me to know that I'm going to bring bad vibes, or to know that I'm going to, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I can understand if you were just concerned about the pandemic, because I was just as concerned about the pandemic, because I was having a conversation with my mama, and I also said the same thing to the representative that I was talking to when I moved in. So I'm just like, you know, I'm concerned as well, but you know, I'm not a nasty person. It's not like I'm gonna clean up behind myself. Half the time, be in my room, which is what I have done here since I've been here. I've been in my room, you know, just to cut down on confusion because of what's going on. And I've pretty much been here by myself the whole time I've been here. So like I said, that's fine. You want to be concerned. I understand being concerned with the woo, all of that. But my whole thing is your deliverance is everything. And your deliverance was nice, nasty. Your deliverance told me that you had other agendas. You get what I'm saying? From what I'm coming from your email, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, y'all. If y'all ain't catch the same vibe, your delivery, your message is saying something completely different as to what you're saying out your mouth. Because you're saying out your mouth that you're concerned about this pandemic, but to me it sounded a little like y'all just want to be up in there by yourself, which is fine. But like I said, I would think that, you know, if I moved into a cottage of 4 rooms, then I would expect to, if I don't have another friend that moves into one of those other rooms, then I would expect to have somebody new or somebody I didn't know come in. So I'm just like, so when this pandemic is over, y'all still gonna act the same way? Because like I said, I don't really feel like there was a concern with the pandemic. You was more concerned about me coming in and barging in on y'all friendship, and I'm just like, girl, I don't even like people like that. You get what I'm saying? So yeah. So the message that I'm about to read is the message that I actually sent to both of them. So I said, hi. I am sorry that you had a bad experience with the property manager, and if you feel like I was thrown on you all. I am also sorry for any inconvenience I may be to you, but no, I cannot ask for another room due to me having to move in immediately. I am well aware of the pandemic, and I am just concerned as you guys are. With that being said, I feel as long as we all follow the proper protocol, we should all be safe. I will be careful and clean after myself to make sure no possible germs are spread, and I hope that you all do the same. I have no intention on coming in and interrupting you all's friendship. However, I do feel since we will be living in the same home, we need to coexist respectfully. And that was all I had to say. Because it's just like, what else is there for me to say? To make a long story short, the place where I live, the property manager was able to find another home for me to move into, so I didn't have to do that, move into the cottage with them, which I think my family and my friends were more happy with that decision. But me, I'm like, nah, put me in, coach, put me in, coach. But you can't move into a house with that type of attitude. So God does everything for a reason. And, sometimes you just have to take the high road. So I'm just like, y'all won this time. That's fine. But God don't like ugly. But anyway, so, like I said, my family and friends were more, pleased with the decision for me to be moved into another home because they didn't want me coming in. Especially with people like that, not even knowing you and having those type of vibes towards somebody they don't know. And me moving in and it be like a hostile environment. They didn't want that for me. So I was like, okay, whatever. So then, because y'all thought the story was over, didn't y'all? So, yeah, no. So then I moved into another apartment. Like I said, this was the same week all that happened. That was on Tuesday. Come Saturday, I moved into my new apartment, which is April the 4th. So I get there, and I got pictures. I got proof, y'all. I get there, and the kitchen is a mess. You know what I'm saying? The kitchen, my room was fine, damn or whatever like that. And I believe the rest of the rooms were locked up. I really didn't try to. I knew my room was one that was empty. So, the room was a mess. I mean, not the room. The kitchen was a mess. The kitchen was dirty. But, on my first day there, I didn't really pay attention to that because I was too busy trying to move my stuff upstairs and get it in. So I really didn't have time to pay attention to the kitchen or anything else that was dirty. But my family did, because they were, they didn't have to be as attentive to everything else that I was being attentive to. They could pay attention to other stuff. They could be attentive to something else. I was more concerned about my room. So I get my stuff in, we'll do it the next day or so. The next week that I'm moving in comes, and my best friend is here, my boyfriend is here with me as well. And, I don't know if I was starting to cook or something like that, but we were in the kitchen. I'm just like, oh, this is nasty, because there is pretty much like you could tell that somebody had left the kitchen or like left the house abruptly is what it seemed like. And so they had avocados that had gone bad on the counter table. There were the trash was full. Like when I say full, there was a griddle on the counter, which is actually still there because I ain't cleaning up after nobody else. And it was like full of grease, like dirty, still full of grease, nasty. The kitchen, like the table, the stove top, the microwave, all of that was dirty. So it's just like, don't nobody, in my head I'm thinking, don't nobody clean up after themselves, like, what's going on, And so as days go on, I started to realize other stuff in the refrigerator that went spoiled. This bread on the counter that's gone bad, just a whole bunch of just foolishness. So my boyfriend actually ends up taking the trash out, and me, I'm the type of person who doesn't like to. And not only was the trash full, like I said, the avocados, which I'm assuming was supposed to be thrown away, were on top of the counter, and then there was some trash, like some mail type of trash that was on top of the counter too. So you didn't clean up after yourself when you got ready to leave. You just left the trash there. You didn't really throw your trash away. None of it. You just got ready to go. You know what I'm saying? You just up and left. You ain't clean up behind yourself, none of that. So in my head, I'm like, okay, so this is what we doing. I'm not knowing who did what, you know, none of that. So days go on, or not even days, and I believe this is for real within my first 2 weeks if I'm not mistaken, but I'm finna pull up an email that will clarify how long it was. I also realized that come upstairs because I have to wash, and like whoever was the last person to wash didn't clean out the, you know, the little lint thing out of the dryer. And from my understanding, you know, when you don't do stuff like that, you can cause the dryer to mess up. So we're not gonna do that. Not only that, might I mention that whoever had been washing most recently, I'm assuming would take the lint and not throw it away, just sit up, because there's like this little area over the washer and dryer. They wouldn't throw it away, they would just sit it up there. So you ain't even got the decency to clean up after yourself, like I said. Not only that, the little dispenser at the very top of the washing machine, the little spiral point, those type of washing machines, the top of it was filthy. Like, most people, you know, usually just pour it directly onto their clothes, but whoever this was using it, and the fabric softeners with the shoes for had been, it looked like the fabric softener was caked on the inside. And I'm just like, how you wash your clothes and something like this? So before I even put clothes in there, of course, me and my boyfriend, my best friend, we cleaned it, pretty much cleaned every day. This day, we cleaned everything, spraying the inside of it down, and sending it through, you know, a cycle. Then I don't touch the dishwasher because the dishwasher is full, and I'm just like, I don't know if they clean the dirt. I'm assuming they clean. I hope they clean that in the dishwasher. All you gotta do is turn it on. I'm just gonna let that alone. We're not gonna touch that. So we clean everything else. I'm cleaning the downstairs bathroom. The downstairs bathroom has mold in it. And it's like the toilet has mold in it. And my best friend was like, well, I'm guessing it's from when the water sits, you know, nobody's really been using the downstairs bathroom. Okay, understandable, but it's still, my whole thing is, this is my whole thing, y'all. I don't want y'all to think that I'm a neat freak, but this is what I'm saying. You know, you can do one thing in your area, in your room, but me as a person, my common areas, I'm gonna make sure they're clean, because I don't want nobody walking into no messy house and seeing my stuff being dirty, if that makes sense. So that's the type of headspace I'm thinking in. Like, y'all don't care about how, you know, y'all don't care about how you may look to other people, or, you know, the room looking dirty, like that don't bother y'all at all. That's what I'm thinking in my head. I end up getting in contact with my same little representative from the office that I had been talking to since I moved in, and I asked him for the rest of my roommate's email, because at this point I'm just like, alright, this is just, you know, this is uncalled for. So I sent this message on April the 9th. Like I told y'all, I moved in on April the 4th. So it wasn't even a week. It was 5 days, almost a week. So, like I said, this what I'm telling, what I just told y'all, the pictures that y'all gonna see, or that y'all done saw already, this is the stuff that I see over the course of 5 days. So I finally text the roommate. I say, good morning, new roommates. My name is Evelyn Walker. I moved into the cottage this weekend and wanted to properly introduce myself. I know that we are all in the middle of a pandemic, but I want to reassure you both that I am taking the proper measures to clean after myself. I hope all is well with you both. I saw the common areas were a little messy, and I was wondering if maybe you all had left in a hurry. If not, I asked if we could be slightly more attentive to our common areas and to respect each other in doing so. Also, there was some molded bread and avocados on the counter. I am so sorry. I am sorry for touching anyone's personal things, but I had to throw them away. Last thing, I contacted White Sky for the Wi-Fi. They believe that the Wi-Fi box is in one of the closets and may come by to connect it soon. And so let me explain the last part, y'all. But I'm gonna get that though. So I came here, and all the houses are supposed to have Wi-Fi, and so I'm calling. Like I said, this is in my work first week, and pretty much my Wi-Fi for my room or my house is not popping good. So I'm like, okay, you know what's going on. So I called them, and they're like, well, the Wi-Fi box is probably in one of the rooms. We'll probably have to come by and send someone to, you know, pretty much do that. I ended up calling them the next day, but hold on, let me get there. So my downstairs roommate replies back, and she says, hey, thank you for your email. I apologize for the 2 furniture boxes in the common area. I did leave in a hurry and didn't have any room in my Camry.
Okay.
okay, to take them to the dumpster. My friends with trucks had already left due to the COVID-19 crisis. I believe the Wi-Fi box is in my closet, which is in the downstairs bedroom. I asked that the maintenance people keep to the closet as I am slightly uncomfortable with people being in my personal space, as I am not there and will not be able to return until the statewide lockdown is over. Super excited to meet you when I do get back. Super excited to meet you when I do get back though. Best, and then her name. So she sends that, and the other roommate sends. Alright, I had to scroll down. Alright, so I find it. The other roommate, because the first roommate, if you did not understand, she is downstairs. The other roommate, whose room is right next to mine, she replies, she says, "Hey Chanel, I'm just seeing this message. But I haven't been there since before spring break. Before leaving, me and my other roommate," talking about the one who was also upstairs, "made sure to clean everything, so maybe it was the roommate downstairs. And I don't know about anyone else, but if it's anything old or needs to be thrown away, I don't mind if you touch. I try my best to keep the common areas clean, so I'm not sure about that mess that has been there since you moved in." So with that being said, I realized that it had to have been the downstairs roommate that left the house abruptly, because like mentioned, she and the other roommates from upstairs said that they had cleaned up before they left. The only other person that had been here was the roommate downstairs. So yeah, I might be, my pillow fell on. So yeah, I might be jumping to conclusions or whatnot, but from what's being told to me, it's the roommate downstairs that had left the mess. So I'm just like, alright, okay, alright, whatever, not so much whatever, but it's just like, alright, this is what we're gonna have to deal with, I'm assuming. Alright. So then I had to send out another email. Another email, and it pretty much was just an update about me telling them that I had to clean out the refrigerator again, because my thing is, when I was cleaned up the first time, I cleaned up enough. I didn't want to really touch anybody's stuff, I just didn't. I'm not comfortable with touching other people's stuff, especially if they're not here, if they didn't give me permission. So I would clean up, or I would throw stuff out as it went bad. Now, when I got here, pretty much they had already established their way of living, so the refrigerator and freezer were pretty much full. I couldn't really, bring any of my stuff in that I may have had, because everything was pretty much stocked up, because that's the way they were used to living, which I understand. So then, the roommate downstairs happens to come home maybe a week or so or two after that, and when she comes home, she and I'm here, so I can hear, and she's in the kitchen and she's cooking. Apparently she wanted a pizza. Okay, cool, you wanted a pizza, left the pizza out, that ain't none of my business. So she comes for a weekend. She comes on like a Thursday. So on the weekends, most of the time I go to my boyfriend, or go see my boyfriend's folks with him. So I'm gone the whole weekend. So by the time I come back for the weekend, she's gone. Now, when I woke up the next morning, that Friday morning, her pizza was on the stove, and she had a plate, a fork, and a spoon, or something like that on it. And I'm like, alright, I ain't gonna touch it, that ain't none of my business. When I come back that Sunday night, Monday night, or something like that, the pizza, the plate, and the fork, or whatever it is still on the counter. And I'm like, alright. So I believe what I did was I emailed her, and I was like, have you left or whatever like that? She was like, yeah, I'll clean up my mess because when I come back the next weekend.
Excuse me?
Now, like I said, this is Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So you gonna leave, you leaving that here for 4 days when you really could have just cleaned up after yourself the next day? Just a pizza. You could have, if you was gonna throw it away, a dish and a fork. You know what I'm saying? 2 dishes. You could have cleaned that up before you left. That pizza, if you knew you want to eat it, you could have threw it away. But instead, you leave it on the counter. And so I left it there like she said she was gonna come back and get it that next weekend. So guess what I did? I left it there for her. And it took, like, the pieces started to mold, so I ended up throwing the piece away. But that baby, that plate and that little fork that you had was still sitting there, because we all grown. I cleaned up after myself. You gonna clean up after yourself, because obviously you didn't clean up after yourself when you left the first time, and I had to clean up that. I'm not finna keep cleaning up after you, and that's how I felt, because you didn't come back that following weekend to clean it up. So that plate and that fork had been sitting there, y'all, literally until this past weekend, because my other roommates ended up coming down, because apparently they were moving too. So everybody moving out the house. But I'm guessing they cleaned it up, because I wasn't finna clean it up, because I ain't finna clean up after nobody. It was going to stay there until you got back. Because you texted me about 2-3 weeks ago telling me that you was going to be back to get the rest of your stuff. Because like I said, apparently she moving out too. Apparently all of them moving out. This weekend, I actually got to talk to the 2 other roommates that were here, and that's how I found out about the griddle. Now, I can't blame them, but I still showed y'all that picture, but I can't blame the griddle on the girl downstairs. But everything else, you know what I'm saying? You still left the trash full. You still left your trash on top of the counter. You know what I'm saying? You still, I believe it was sinks or something in the dishes when I got here. Like, the place is still a mess. You still left the oven and the microwave clean. You get what I'm saying? Dirty. You still, the stuff that you were using while you were here was still unkept. The only thing that was kept was your room. So it's just like, you still weren't taking care of business. You still was acting as if you were here by yourself. You get what I'm saying? So I was just like, go. You know, that's fine. You want to leave, I don't even care no more, because at this point, I find that I can't be living with somebody that's dirty like that. So when she said that she would leave it, child, go ahead. Leave. Now, the other 2 upstairs seem like they might have been cool, or at least I know y'all can clean up behind y'allselves. You get what I'm saying? Because since they done been here, they done clean. You get what I'm saying? They done cooked and cleaned, did what they had to do clean. They cleaned up behind themselves. Even if they didn't clean up right after they got done what they was doing, by the next morning, by the time I woke up, everything was clean and thrown away. Trash had to be taken out, they would take it out. You know what I'm saying? Sweep them up several times while they were here. So I'm just like, what's your deal? Because I know for a fact when she was here, she left the same stuff that she did her first night here until I got back to the house. And like I said, I was gone for the whole weekend. So at this point, I choose somebody that's going to be clean and respectful over somebody that's just, you know what I'm saying? Because even like from the little conversation, they seemed like they were pretty respectful about, especially about other people's stuff. But it was just like, now me. You're not going to do it with me. You're not going to be dirty with me. You can get your stuff and you can get it. For real, this ain't even, you know, we all pay rent or whatever like that, but y'all. Long story short, can y'all please keep me in my prayers that I get some decent roommates with some, you know, some sense about themselves. And yeah, I'm actually planning on, since all my roommates are moving out, and apparently I won't get any new roommates until about the 2nd week of next month. I'm going to throw a housewarming and get a little bit of extra stuff, you know, if I can, you know, and a little school supplies, because the same week that I'm planning on doing my housewarming, we start school that week as well. So I'm gonna do a housewarming, and of course I'm going to probably record a little bit of that, get a little bit of footage, because I haven't been getting a little bit of footage of the stuff that I've been doing lately, which I'm sorry, you know, but I'm trying to do better, because we about to, if you didn't catch that, your girl about to go back to school. Now, your girl about to go back. So yeah, I'm gonna get y'all a little bit more footage. Like I said, I got the housewarming coming up, and then the next big event that I know of is my birthday, and my birthday is big every year, always big. It's my birthday. It's period. If you celebrate, if you serious about your birthday, then you understand. So this year I turned 23, and so I got to do it the right way. So yeah, so y'all be on the lookout. Like I said, the closest thing, and hopefully I'll put out more videos before then, but the closest thing we have is my housewarming, which is next month, and then my birthday is in October. So yeah, so that is it for this story time, you guys. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope y'all understood where I was coming from, because your girl was just frustrated. What are you doing? Why? you're nasty. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, just I've been through a lot, and that's just only talking about the roommate situation. Like I said, I done been the most of the time that I done been here since I done moved in. I done been here by myself. So yeah, that's not talking about all the other issues that have gone on, because there have been a lot. But that's a different story for a different day. I'm gonna let y'all go because this video is getting kind of long. Got to go edit it. Hopefully I'll post it today. Give y'all some content, something to make y'all laugh, whatever. I'll talk to you on another day.